I legitimately forgot about that intro.
It's awesome. I love it.
They're really well done.
Welcome to the Escape with Nick and Adam. This is our end of 2022. Yes, we know it's 2023 already, but we didn't get a chance to do that show, so we're doing it tonight. We got Jerry joining us. Hopefully, Danny will be joining us a little bit.
How's it going, Jerry?
Jerry, welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. This is always fun with you guys.
How was your 2022?
Well, mine was very eventful because I left one career. I mean, personally, we left one career and kind of jump started another. So it's been kind of crazy. I go to, this isn't part of the show, so I'll be brief, but I was going to work from home, but I ended up going to Panera every day because I'm bragging, but I'm part of the SIP club. I know.
All right.
They have no idea. Free iced tea all day long. I drink a lot. And so every time I seem like I add something to it, I started off with a little bag. Now I got a big bag full of my stuff. And for my wife's kind of not a doomsday prepper, but she likes to be prepared. She's got some MREs. She's got some stuff in case we have to hike it to the woods. And so I bought her a solar powered battery. It's a battery that'll run like it's 300 watts for like 10 hours or something. But it's very lightweight. But the solar panels are like they fold out like 4 feet wide. So, but anyway, so I'm walking in with that because I can sit at my booth. I don't like when other people sit in my booth. That's my booth. So now I sit there all day and keep my laptop plugged in. And
you go all Sheldon on it. Be like, or like in How I Met Your Mother. Be like, I'm gonna need you to get out of our booth.
Did not expect that to happen, but hey, that's my new life. But anyway, thank you for asking. Yeah, my world's good. You know what? One of the best things, not the best thing, one of the best things, I haven't worn anything with a zipper in 6 months. And my new uniform is a gray t-shirt and black sweats. Boom. Every morning, same thing. And different t-shirt, sweats, of course. But man, don't have to worry about matchy. Don't have to worry about zippers. Don't have to worry about my buttons popping off as they were wont to do towards the end there. So anyway, good
That's
times.
amazing. So what did you go to?
Oh, right. So I'm working with actually my old college roommate. We've been best friends for 40 years. Jesus world. Over 40 years. Anyway, he had a web development company. And so I joined. He retired like 5 years ago and has been doing that full time. And he started expanding. So I joined, and now we're getting all into the e-learning. So I sat all day long today and wrote e-learning curriculum. It was fun. Yeah, I can write animations, and we got a gal who does animations and graphics and interactive games and stuff. So it's great. I love it. I thought by now I'd be a little worried or start getting a little weird just because I just have my headphones on Panera all day, but I love it, man. That's my favorite thing to do. Just put my headphones on, just create, so it's a lot of fun.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. I'm still fairly young, so I got years and years to work. So I'm not retired, just changed careers, but it was time. And I hear some of the crap they are dealing with back in public school. I'm like,
oh,
Jerry,
honestly, couldn't even imagine how to deal with that nowadays.
Yeah,
dealing with public education, everything going on. I was like, even sometimes like, would I go back? And I'm like, no, not it. I don't know if you could pay me enough right now to go back to work in public schools anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of public schools. My kids went to public schools. I think we do a great job. And anything that came my way, I was one advantage. I was the longest sitting administrator K-12. I was sitting there longer than anybody. So anything that came my way, I knew how to deal with it. I just didn't want to anymore. It's like
right.
Okay. And you know what was a change that happened, guys, is not just kids, but parents started getting involved in social media. Like,
oh no.
Yeah. So it's
Ouch.
like parents saying stuff about kids and crazy.
You see that stuff on the news, and you're just like, how old are you? Like,
yeah.
It's funny because I was trying to teach my son, like when he was in high school and getting ready to transition. It's like, I was like, I'd love to tell you people change and grow up, and don't act like they did in high school. And but 100% not true. Most of the time, if they hit high school a certain way, most of the time they're probably just going to go into adulthood and not change.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
They just swell.
It's just yeah. It's just I am's what I am's, and that's how it's going to be. So
They,
Actually,
if there's anybody, oh, go ahead. Sorry. Here, just
Oh, no.
something. That's all.
just real fast, because I actually went back. I didn't think I'd do it, but they had a Christmas party for retirees that I used to do, and now this year I got invited to them. Like, well, that's kind of weird, but I went and I saw some of the kids, and one kid was stopped me and said, "You're here?" I said, "Yeah." They said, are you going to stay for a while?" I said, "No, I'm retired. I got to go pick up my prescription and polish my walker." They're like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay.
that
makes sense.
that adds up. Yeah.
Totally believable. Yeah. I'll see you when I get there. Yeah. Think
But
so.
I'm just getting ready to die. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. This probably isn't part of. Well, I started. My dad had passed 25 years ago or something like that, but he was very comfortable with the notion of his imminent demise sometime, and he actually took me. Funeral parlors have like a back room where like casket shopping.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've had to do that. Yeah.
So he took me back there, and he said, "I used to have this one, but then I got that brown suit, so I went with this one. It's brass." I'm like, okay,
I wanted all the match. Yeah.
exactly. That's funny.
It is.
Well, Nick, didn't you say you wanted a see-through coffin and no pants? Was that the, or no?
That's the plan right now.
Well, that wasn't it was you. It wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, maybe like one of those water things that's got the blue and the clear in it. So like when you tilt me around, it'll do like one of those. Yeah. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny.
nothing's set in stone right now. So
That's funny.
If I really respect people who work hard for a living, and I'm friends with a lot of them. So I want to do a poll amongst my friends that my death, will it give you the day off? If so, and there's enough people to have a, like you get bereavement pay, then we'll throw a funeral. We'll throw a funeral. That way everybody can be off with pay. But
right.
But if that can't happen, then let's just throw it in the oven and get rid of the old husk.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about it.
that's a good thought. To be a real pal, whatever year, it's you go in February, put you on ice until like that Friday before Memorial Day, so you'd have a nice long weekend.
You know what? I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to switch all of this back to the show right now. 2 ways. First, let's not forget the topic of death. The other one, back to what you were saying about would you do high school again? I would in certain conditions. Here's the one. Quantum leap back into myself in 1995 with this mind and this experience, but in that being. And I would say, oh, shit, I got this. This will be easy. First, Child Protective Services. Second, no, I'm just I'm kidding about that. My mom was great. In her own mind, she could tell you how awesome she was. But yeah, so there's the sci-fi element to it. Now the death part. And why I don't want to be put on ice. There's this movie that was made, I believe, like 10 years ago or within the last 10 years with Christina Ricci and I have a certain set of skills, and I'm a Jedi. Liam Neeson. And he is a funeral director, mortician, and he has this gift, I guess, that only he can see. So I guess it's why he went in the business that he did. And I couldn't finish the movie, by the way, because I couldn't. And that's not, I can finish The Exorcist. All right. So the corpses open their eyes and start talking to him like, what are you doing to me? And he says, you passed away. You're here. And he goes, I'm getting you ready. And he's trying to explain it. And she's saying, I'm not dead. I can't be dead. And he starts to sew up some of the cuts on her head. And she's like, what are you doing to me? She can't feel it because she's dead. She's like, just let me go. Just let me go. I won't say anything. And the thing is he really does have a gift, and she really is dead. She just, the brain is still conscious of what's going on around it.
Whoa.
And that's as far as I got, man. And I'm like, See, I'm not afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of. Right there is being aware of what the fuck's going on while that's happening. That scared me enough to turn the movie off. Scare or set off panic in me. I don't know. Same thing, I guess, but it was a different kind of fright than it would be, say, watching The Exorcist or Freddy Krueger. Like that was Disneyland compared to watching. Just let me go. I won't tell anyone. Just let me go. But it's like there's nothing to let go. You're dead. You belong here. That's what they couldn't understand.
Wow, that's scary. That's
Holy shit, man! Happy New Year.
So anyway, all right, let's get on with stuff. So things we got going in 2023. We have to support our friends over at Night of the Chihuahuas. They had
Yes.
a Kickstarter start today. God made them small, men made them deadly. Join our official launch of Night of the Chihuahuas. Be part of the Chihuahua Army. It's already got some backers, and it's got a goal of $1,000. So they're already a third of the way there. So good job.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So
wonderful.
Go help out our friends Nate, Dave, and not sure who did the other art, but definitely Nate and David. Go check those guys out and help them out on Kickstarter if you can. So it is Night of the Chihuahuas on Kickstarter. So go check it out.
One of the time you guys had them on, I tuned in for a little bit. Interesting fellas, real interesting fellas, and super talented, man.
Oh my god, yeah, and they, I got the fella's name. Go ahead, I'll bring it up in a minute. Sorry about that, guys.
So yeah, keep it up. It's going for another 29 days. It's funny, the whole premise of the show's Austin.
What is it?
Austin is one of the other guy we didn't mention.
Austin Eckert.
Austin Eckert. How you doing, Austin Eckert? And we want to give a shout out to Josh Morello too. So
yeah, Josh Beno show. Josh, great guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yep,
But so it's going for another 29 days, and yeah, it was funny. Nate and I were going back and forth because, I posted today's our end of year show. Even though, sorry, we're late. He's like, it's okay when we posted it today. It said we started this in 1970, and it's been up for 50. So he's like, yeah, just how things work out. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be fine.
1970.
Yeah.
Love
so. He's like, sometimes technology doesn't always work the way you think it's going to work. So, but if you have the funds to go help out Night of Chihuahuas, and you are a fan of supporting especially indie creators, indie comics, go check those guys out and give them a hand. You got 29 days, so go check it out.
Very cool. Go for it, guys.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. How did you guys find them or know them or?
Completely. One of those mystical things that happens on social media. We just kind of started the page on Instagram of, hey, we have a show and here's our Instagram for it. And he messaged me. He's like, what does it take to have you guys, review our comic? I'm like, ask. And yes, it's like, yeah, but yeah, of course. And he's like, well, we'll send you a copy. I was like, no, we will buy a copy. We'll support, you guys. And ever since then, yeah. And he just mentioned me yesterday. He wants to come on and talk about the Kickstarter. It's like, yeah, anytime you guys want to come on,
absolutely,
please do. So
that's cool. That's how it starts.
Yeah, and it's just nice because just good dudes. I like helping good dudes. So yeah, if you can, go help out Nate over at Night of Chihuahuas on the Kickstarter. So
you can't lose because Night of the Chihuahuas. I just want to say, Night of the Chihuahuas, like it is the escape. It is the escape you're looking for. It's got some funny horror suspense in it, and there's no message in it other than have a good time with this comic. It's awesome, and I really want to read number 3. So folks, help us out.
Yeah, we want to help them finish the run. I think David said, well, it's going to be a 5-issue run. I think that's what's supposed to be. So we got 2 more to go. So, and you can go purchase the first 2 issues at their website. So you can go to nightchihuahuas.com and buy those. But it's
sorry.
Kind of, what the hell? It's just kind of the way the comic industry's going. Not the comic industry's not in a good spot. So if you want anything done independently, you used to like, man, we were really hoping to go to DC or Marvel or any of these guys, and comics aren't selling like they used to. So, but if you want to get your own stuff made, the one of the avenues right now is go through crowdfunding and go to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. And it's an easy way to, not easy way. It is one of the avenues to get your stuff out there. So.
And if you're a resident here in the Metro Detroit area, or even, maybe a little further out, you can pick up issues 1 and issues 2 at both the Fraser location and the Rochester Hills location, Comics Corner. And if we fund this Kickstarter, we'll have number 3 at the store too. And I'm burping. I'm sorry. I can't stop.
All right, let's get into 2022, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So things that we had in 2022, I was just kind of broke it down into Marvel Phase 4 finally finished. Doctor Strange, Wakanda Forever, Thor Love and Thunder, Disney Plus, you had Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. What did you guys think of Marvel in 2022?
Well, Marvel in 2022 was lukewarm, because it wasn't cold, but it was lukewarm. Like, cold is bad. It's like Batman and Robin bad when it's like that. So 2022, there were some shows that I thought were really good. Loki was one of them. WandaVision, one of them. I think that Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a good show, but very, very, very niche. You got to really just kind of like that grit, and that attracts only a certain kind of audience. After those 3, though, what a bumpy ride the television shows were for Marvel, as far as I'm concerned. And then you had the movies. I expected to think that Wakanda Forever was bullshit, and then I expected to love Doctor Strange. The opposite happened. Wakanda Forever was very well made, very well done, and very well thought out. It had one flaw, and it was its runtime. And I don't mind long movies. I love long movies.
I'm sick of long movies.
I understand that, but if the next Dune movie comes out, you're going to commit 3 hours of your life to see it. That's just the way it is. This is not Dune. And so there was an entire subplot that just needed to be plucked out, and you had a fine movie. That was it. And that was the Madam Hydra stuff. We pull that out. You don't have Steve Rogers. Who the fuck cares about Hydra? Anyways. I got to stop. I'm getting angry. Can we move? Jerry, what'd you think of Marvel Phase 4?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I started off very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. I want to see. I'll add to. I like the Hawkeye series. I thought that was
liked it too.
I
really liked it.
They somehow get into our world and it's believable. Like the first Iron Man, the first Captain America. That could happen, Yeah. Then it takes flights of fancy and gets crazier and crazier, and so I couldn't even bring myself to watch She-Hulk. You guys, I couldn't do it. I didn't even.
I couldn't get past episode 2.
I forced myself.
Yeah,
that's going on the that's going on the ugly side for me.
Yeah, and I went to Doctor Strange. Man, I was in the front row with my bucket of popcorn, thinking, yes. And I was like, okay, it was nice to be in that world again. But you know what? We are so lucky to have lived through the phase 1, 2, and 3 in our lifetime.
I agree.
So it's hard. That'll never happen again in my lifetime because it takes too long to plan. DC keeps trying, but they just keep missing. But so I got to go back to. That's why I went to see Doctor Strange, because I loved, the first 3 phases so much.
May I ask you a question about Doctor Strange?
What's that?
May I ask you one question about Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
Did you watch WandaVision?
Yeah.
Did you like WandaVision?
I liked WandaVision, but the main reason I liked it was it was very creative. I didn't know it started way over here to get to over. You can all see him go, and we want this to happen, and she's got to grieve. What's the furthest point away we could go and still end up there in 6 or 8 episodes? That part I like, because they had me going, what the hell? I like.
So keep all of that in mind. Now go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and she's a bad guy.
Yeah.
she learned such a valuable lesson at the end, and then she went and got the Dark Book, and you're like, okay, well, we got our Scarlet Witch, and she's not half bad. Mm-hmm. And then you got our Scarlet Witch in that movie, and she's totally bad. So, okay, now that bothered me. That's
because it was a little confusing. It's like, wait, what? It's like a whole different character. Yeah. And
that was one of the failings of Disney Plus is they tried to make it where Disney Plus kind of was the mortar, like in between all the bricks to kind of fill everything in, and I think they failed miserably at that.
Yeah, it didn't work. The that girl talking about Disney. Why do they have that teenage girl in the jean jacket that kept going through the star?
America Chavez, because she was a female person.
Yeah, and it appealed to the Disney demographics. I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I had to get off on that right there. Just I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know you got more to say about Marvel Phase 4, but right there is like one of the major wrong turns for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you guys may disagree with this, but the story arc, the dramatic arc for Thor, really checked. Was a challenge to Chris Hemsworth's acting chops and stuff, but it's gone into the bizarre now. It's
that's
screaming
it's part of the Taika Waititi is, hey, you did this thing really well, and then we're like, oh, you can do whatever you want. I don't know when that nonsense really started happening for directors, because it used to be like you to have carte blanche, like your name either had to be Spielberg, Lucas, Scorsese. Taika Waititi did a couple of good movies, don't get me wrong, but doesn't mean you're like, oh, you can just do whatever you want. Be like,
yeah,
he screwed up so bad with Chris Hemsworth, he doesn't want to come back as Thor.
Yes, I heard that, and whatever article I read about that, Hemsworth didn't say I don't want to work with him again, but he said it in such a way as you knew.
I think it was I don't want to work with kind of the eccentric directors, something like that, where he's just like, but it's all like. Everybody knew what he was saying, So, when you've got one of the last of your ventures and you piss him off so bad because you gave him this obnoxious jackass as a director, and you said, "Do whatever you want, buddy."
The crazier, the better.
Remember all those goat jokes? Fuck's sakes! Like I love goats, but geez.
The king has no clothes. If somebody else were to do some of that shit, they'd say, "No, that's not." But if he does it, it's genius.
It's quirky.
Doesn't really play to genius.
So someone else, it's stupid, but the right people. Oh, it's quirky and humorous. Like it was the first 3 times. Once you got to like 20, trust me, I think Screaming Goats are one of the funniest things on the freaking planet. But like even me, I'm like, sweet Jesus, we're still doing this. We're still doing this one.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Thor fans out there too that. I'd like to meet one, a serious Thor fan. They're out there. I'd like to talk to one about how they feel about this.
Well, Adam, I made the mistake of, going to you and you're like, oh, I've got the Gore the God Butcher comic, run. I was like, I need to read that. And then I did. And it made my experience worse because I was like, you took, one of the better modern runs for Thor and you just left it to this hack. To just destroy it.
Well, some would argue that Gore the God Butcher stuff was like a redefining story of Thor that and to come out in 2011, 2012 to be that definitive, and then you give us Ringling Brothers as a fucking movie.
Yeah. No, I'm lucky because I usually go see these movies with my brother Chuck. You met him once; he was on the show once or twice.
Yeah.
Hey, T'Chaka. Yeah. And I go unfettered. I've never read the Thor the God Butcher run. I don't know anything. About the backstory, and he knows everything about the backstory and who became who after who. Robin, after he left Batman, was Nightwing and into the different
right.
And so he goes into these things, and it just you can see his hands curling into fists because it's so frustrating. So he has a different experience, and a true fan that knows the backstory. Gosh, it's got to be so frustrating. Here's this great story with intrigue, and it's got some gravitas and some meat to it, and they screw it up, So me, I go there and go, it was entertaining, but
Well,
I don't know what it was about talking about Marvel, that phase 1, phase 2. But I think part of it for me was that it was like, well, this could happen. I mean, you could get an Iron Man that way, I like that somehow.
Well,
it all happened in a sphere of science fiction.
Well, the stable of writers and directors and everybody helming the very foundations of what became the MCU. You're talking about, you got Jon Favreau, you've got James Gunn, you've got Joss Whedon, the Russo brothers. Oh, Russo's brothers were a little bit later, but like originally, like you had, all these, top people in top form. You had Edgar Wright as one of the writers, shaping everything. You got all these guys, and name me one good director or writer you've got left.
But you know what, Nick? They were all fans. Favreau knows. He's done it all. He's read it all. He's got, and then Taika Waititi comes along, and I don't know if he's a fan. I think he got the job.
No, he is not.
Read the thing.
He is not.
Because
he's basically come out and said that, oh, if you want me to basically ruin something you love, I'm the guy, and I'm going to screw it up for you. He's like, let me tell you how much that doesn't do anything for me.
Maybe that's part of it, because the other guys just handled it with reverence, I guess. I mean, the true to the source material.
Right. He reminds me of Tim Burton in a way, but with a little bit of Joel Schumacher too. Here's the thing: is what I mean by that. You mentioned you did this well, we'll go nuts kind of a thing. Well, that's what happened with Batman Returns. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it made McDonald's flinch and all this kind of stuff, which I really like Batman Returns. But if you look at the '89 Batman film,
it should have though.
What's that? No, I agree. I agree.
Batman Returns. If you went from it was dark, but the thing that's still to this day, like you talk about the movie that you can watch. I was like, me watching Danny DeVito as the Penguin is still like, oh God, that's a hard watch still.
Well, no, I agree. But I would say if you just look at Tim Burton's Batman Returns versus Batman, it almost looks like two different directors in a way. You could tell he was he was reeled in. And the fun fact about the '89 Batman movie is Burton really doesn't get to make his film without Jack Nicholson because of, I believe his name's John Peters, the producer. He had a lot of power on the set. And Nicholson, if you don't let the kid make his movie, I'll just walk. I don't need to be here. And that's it. And he shut him up. Like the scene where Batman's holding him off the cliff, he wanted him to say it a couple different ways, right? Well, he wanted him to say, "I'm Batman, motherfucker." Mike, he wanted Keaton to deliver that line. Tim Burton and Michael Keaton had a good rapport where Michael Keaton was saying, this guy wouldn't say this. He wouldn't say this. We got to take this out. Well, what would he do? He'd just stand there and look at him. This is what this guy would do. This guy's dressing up like a bat. He's not coming out here to deliver the dialogue. And the other guy was fighting for the lines, so Nicholson stepped in. He doesn't have that kind of border, he doesn't, so that's what I'm talking about with Taika Waititi. I guess it's a loose connection. I probably should have went for Schumacher, huh?
Well, no, I mean, I know what you're saying because it went from, Thor Ragnarok to, hey, still sort of in character versus the Batman '89 versus, and then you go Batman Returns, and literally everything's just amped up. Dark. Everything's dark. Everything's a little more. There's freaking penguins with bombs running around. And
Lydia Dietz, her mom designed Gotham City. You know what I mean? Beetlejuice. Right. No, I don't. She didn't really do it, but remember the stupid clay models in Beetlejuice, Jerry? It looks like the mother from Beetlejuice went and designed everything in Batman Returns.
Yeah. But that's why, the Batman Begins, I guess that's the kind of superhero movie I like. The Tim Burton Batmans, they were comic books brought to life, whereas the Batman Begins was taking the comics as a source material, but taking it from this could happen. This is how this could possibly be in real life. I guess I like that grounded in reality stuff a little bit better. And you mentioned Ragnarok. I like Ragnarok, but that seemed to be my limit. Then he said, "Oh, fun is good. Well, I'll give you crazy."
Right.
Right.
Here's Screaming Goats.
Yeah.
Which once again I love, but for
Yeah.
God's sake, too much. But and it's funny that you bring up Christopher Nolan because Christopher Nolan did not want to make a Batman movie. He didn't want to
Really?
make a Batman trilogy. He wanted to make a crime noir, and they said, "Well, as long as you make it Batman, you know, you can do. We'll give you 3 movies." He's like, "All right,"
Mhm.
and that's why I agree with that take as being the nice grounded Batman. But I think it was almost a little too grounded, especially the take on Bane, which is great, and Tom Hardy's fantastic, but it's not a comic book Bane. I'm still waiting for. Well, we're all still waiting for basically the Batman the animated series come to life.
This YouTuber, he's a really good film reviewer. I like what he has to say about movies, and he went back and reviewed the Dark Knight trilogy from Christopher Nolan. He said, and he's a comic book fan. He reads comic books. He goes, "This is how I reconcile it." And he says, the Nolan trilogy is what really happened in real life. That's
Right.
what happened. That's what's in the history books. He says these comic books, these stories, these crazy things, these cartoons, that's the lore that spun off of it. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. Be like, hey, if we actually have to do this in real life, this is how we do it. But like you said, this is a couple generations down the line, and everything gets amped up. Bane's, his biceps are as big as his, your thigh and all that stuff.
Now,
Perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
No, brother. Someone must stay behind. Oh, that yours is better.
The file rises.
Do you guys
That's
know?
not all right. I can.
All right.
Do you guys know what the next? Okay, so we had MCU phases 1 through 4. Really, 1 through 3 were worth it. They must be slowly setting up.
Okay, I'm so glad you
I
said
don't know
this.
much about it.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
Well,
where's it going?
Well, we were going to get into this one. That's fine. We can get James Gunn, who's now, the big boss, along with Peter Safran over at DC Studios. So you had Henry Cavill, who everybody loved as Superman. I really thought that was the thing, and there's not conflicting messages, but it is like, well, he was allowed to go on social media and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm back," and then he's not back. So, but now, I've said it before on the show. I was like, now James Gunn, not only do you have to go find a better Superman or just as good as Henry Cavill, and then make it, it's got to be a perfect Superman. It can't be a triple. It can't be a home run. It has to be an absolute grand slam, or all the DC fans are going to say, Henry Cavill was there. Why didn't you use him?
Yeah. And
so, but when it comes to what's actually being announced, that's not. He said January of 23 is when he is expected to announce the first of the DC movies, but also that means it's going to be he's made Superman the priority. So we should be finding out at least in the next few weeks what the plan is. But I haven't heard any rumors as to who is supposed to be playing Superman.
I don't know. And so they must have the long game in mind, because we've all been through a lot of Supermans, and I like Henry Cavill better than any of them. I just do. He just seems to be made for that dang thing. And I was shocked. He's got such a good American accent. The first time I heard him speak in his native British accent, I'm like, what?
Right.
So,
yeah.
He's just the man. He just looks at me. Probably the best one that fits the comic book image in my mind mentally. But I think he's like the best actor out there of the thing. But so they must have the long game in mind, because he's also mid 40s, late 40s. I mean, he doesn't have 3 movies.
38, I believe.
How old?
I think he's 38.
38. No, that's impossible, because I didn't look that good at 38. I don't think that's.
I don't think any.
Even I wasn't in good shape.
I don't think there's that many men that look that good anyway. I mean, it's like, don't bring your girlfriend around that guy. Henry called. He wants to come and hang out with just the three of us.
Yeah, just at the pool. Just in, their speedos.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like
39.
Henry.
Sorry.
Well, I was surprised that Hugh Jackman's getting back in Wolverine shape, and I can't imagine. It's got to be harder at his age, man. That's a grueling regimen he's got to go through.
I mean, speaking of Marvel stuff, that's the only thing I'm looking forward to when it comes to Marvel stuff. Marvel has nothing I'm looking forward to besides Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'll go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'll go see Quantumania, just because I like Paul Rudd so much.
This is the first time I'm excited for an Ant-Man movie. I saw the trailer, and I was like, no shit, that looks like appropriately fun for a superhero movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm look like crap. So that did nothing for me. I was just like, it looks like they repackaged. It's like they have a template now where it's like pick cool oldie song and then edit in clips. And I just saw I'm like not taking this.
But one thing that's going to be missing,
I'll go see it.
I love that guy. I don't know his name. He's like the Latino guy. And he's like, okay.
Oh yeah.
That when he tells the story, that with too many details, that is a great character. I love when he goes off on rant. And Julio said to the girl, whatever. But I don't think they're going to have him in that one. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to those two. Craven the Hunter. I don't know.
Adam, do you know if that's Sony or is that strictly MCU?
That's Sony. Craven the Hunter.
It is.
Craven the Hunter. Sony. Yeah, that's a Spider-Man thing. Because now Spider-Man, technically, that was their way out. They don't have to do any more MCU movies. When Doctor Strange made everybody forget who Peter Parker was, they don't ever have to mention Spider-Man again now if they don't want to. And it all can still make sense. And then Spider-Man can always just say, yeah, I've had it rough. And then as an audience, we know Tony Stark. This is kind of what they're doing. We know Tony Stark made him Spider-Man, but at the end of that movie, he puts on the original Spider-Man suit from the comics kind of a thing. He makes it himself with his sewing machine. And we all get the original Spider-Man finally in Tom Holland form. So now all he's got to say is, yeah, I've done some things. And then he never even has to utter the word Avenger again.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, I got to say, true confession here, just between us girls here. How many times a day do I wish I had a web slinger just to go get the remote control from on the couch?
Tell me that.
Only as many times as I've tried to use the Force to grab something.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah. So Craven is directed by J.C. Chandor, and he's known for
Chandor.
A Most Violent Year, Margin Call, and All Is Lost. That sounds like an uplifting movie. I don't know any of these freaking movies. Triple Frontier, I think that's one of the ones that was on Netflix.
What are you talking about? Where are we? I lost you.
The director for Craven.
Oh, right.
So,
but they're getting rid of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Everything that was Snyderverse. So you're talking Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Henry Cavill's gone. Gal Gadot's gone. Ben Affleck's gone as. And Ezra Miller is. I don't know, and that's it. I don't know what the hell they're doing with the Flash. Got no idea.
No, it's coming out.
I know it's coming out, but you're talking about trying to reset things at the same time, not confuse people because Zaslav came out and said, "Hey, we're not doing 4 Batman in one universe." Okay, well you got at least Robert Pattinson somewhere. Not sure where that is.
The movies. That's all it is. They're going to
release
the movies. They don't mean anything.
And that's part of the problem. Now you've got the movie set. You've got in the can. So Aquaman's coming out. Shazam's coming out. The Flash coming out, and they don't mean shit. They don't mean nothing moving forward because there's no continuity. There's no nothing. I think what they're sort of trying to do is reboot everything with the Flash, with Flashpoint saying here's the new whatever, and that's where they're gonna. That'll be kind of the new starting point. But honestly, I the reason the first Aquaman made $1 billion because Jason Momoa took his shirt off. Whether that'll work the second time, who knows? Oh, you got Blue Beetle too, and that's the thing. Like, I'm excited about like a Blue Beetle movie because that's fun. That's a fun character, but at the same time, it falls into the Black Adam character. Where does anybody give a shit who Black Adam is? No. They don't. The typical normies, DC. You have to be pretty deep into DC to know who Blue Beetle and Black Adam are.
No, well then you just threw my argument at the door. I was like, I like Blue Beetle and Black Adam.
Yeah,
but
talking Mr. DC there.
I know I'm the 1% you're talking about.
But you guys bring up an excellent point. That is why I love the MCU, because it was this interconnected other world, and the characters, they could set it up, they could foreshadow the next movie. And now we're just back to the way it always was, which should be fine. Okay, you got a one-off of Shazam, you got a one-off, but it was better when it was all connected, wasn't it?
Well, that's the problem now. So you have an entire, basically, generation of movie fans who that's the standard, right? That's the way they want it because it works so well, and DC can't get out, their head out of their ass to even get one decent movie out with one of their prime characters, one of the big three. But no, hey, let's keep pushing, this, BS stuff that people, that they just don't know. The average people don't know, but the average fan knows who now Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, all the Avengers are.
I heard a really good idea today. At least I think it's a good idea. But I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Do you guys like Harry Potter?
I like Harry Potter.
I do.
Okay. So,
I like the original. I don't like this whole the new thing they're trying to with the Fantastic Beasts. It just never took off for me. Sorry.
So someone, I don't know if it's a rumor or whatever going around Hollywood, but it was on the John Campea show, and this was addressed that there's talks of them rebooting it all and starting with a new kids to play Harry Potter and new kids to play them all. And they kind of showed a picture of all of them older too. And one of the guys on the show, his name's Robert Meyer Burnett, and he's a big-time sci-fi comic book fan, all this stuff. He's worked on projects. Anyway, he talked about Star Trek, and he said, he referenced the 1979 motion picture. They brought the original cast. They were older. He says, and then they got it to work, and then they went on for over a decade to make 6 more movies from their middle-aged up until their old age. He says, you could do the same thing with these guys. They're all in their 30s. He said you could make another 10 to 15 years worth of stuff with these guys as they get older and older. And I sat there going, I really wish I was a fucking Harry Potter fan right now. Because I am a Star Trek fan. And that did work. It worked. Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, Final Frontier, and The Undiscovered Country are my five of my favorite movies ever. And I give credit to the motion picture, even though it was long, whatever, but it did its job.
You know what, pal? That's an excellent point too. That was probably, for me, that series in Star Trek, that was probably the first time they had this happen, then the Search for Spock, then the Voyage Home. That was like one long story. Oh yeah. Man.
There was a trilogy. It was part 2, 3, and 4, but it was a trilogy. And you don't get 5 and 6 without what happens in that. So
anyway, I don't seem like it wouldn't be that hard. For some reason, DC can never pull it together. I don't know.
They overthink it, and they've got too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. But getting back to the Harry Potter thing, so I'm gonna guess moving on with the current cast, there would have to be some type of amends between J.K. Rowling and the original cast, because basically they're on the outs with them.
Yeah.
Because of, I'll just say, modern issues. And they want, a lot of Harry Potter fans actually want J.K. Rowling removed from Harry Potter stuff. But here's the problem. J.K. Rowling has one of the most ironclad contracts in publishing, if not the most ironclad. There's no removing J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter at all. She is every single it's almost George Lucas like, where every single thing that had Star Wars or Harry Potter on it, she gets royalties from, no matter what, moving forward.
And she has veto power too. She was involved in every decision with the first Harry Potter movie.
She has the best contract basically in when it comes to any IP at this point.
Yeah,
they've actually made it a point to make people not give them the J.K. Rowling contract because it's so ironclad.
Interesting. Smart lady.
Yeah, but Adam, I did hear that that story before as well, because I compare Harry Potter to Star Wars just as far as you have now a couple generations of kids growing up with that, almost, between the books and the movies, where that's their life. Like, that's like the way they're passionate about Harry Potter is the way I'm passionate about Star Wars, with just where it's a part of your life at this point.
Now, I just read an article that Favreau, who was involved in, all the Mandalorian and all that stuff, that he is on his own kind of creating a whole nother path, to fill out this universe with. And it's cohesive, and, Favreau's the man. He saved so many things from nothing.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Gunn was trying to get Favreau to come over and do a DC movie. That'd be interesting. But I think he's kind of the next heir apparent to Kathleen Kennedy, because as soon as Indiana 5 comes out, Kathleen Kennedy's gone, and I will be marking down that day, and I will be having a small party once she actually leaves, because she's terrible.
I mean, if she's the one who's responsible for Indiana Jones Part 5, I hope she.
It's the only reason.
All right, be nice, Adam.
It's the only reason she's hanging on him, because that's what she's got left. Because Disney actually had to put a muzzle on her, because she started, they'd have these big Disney, shows, and they'd start just announcing this, that, and the other. How many things has Disney Star Wars announced that has not come out?
Well, right, because
at this point, dozens, because they literally just put out they spray and pray event, pretty much, and just hope they find something, and they haven't found nothing except for the Mandalorian. That's once again came back to Jon
Favreau. My opinion is this: if you take a puppy, maybe like 6 months old or something, and you take that puppy and just beat him over the head over and over and over again, violently and horribly, do horrible things to him. That's equivalent, but don't do it. That's horrible. That's equivalent to giving a green light to Indiana Jones Part 5.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, I love Indiana Jones. I really do. Stop fucking that up. Sorry.
I'll see it. I'll go out there and see it, though. I have a bit of Temple of Doom trivia for you guys.
Yes, please.
Just read it. Something I never knew. Temple of Doom is actually a prequel.
Prequel to the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I just found that out yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh! And the name of the club that they go into is like the Obi-Wan Club or something. It's like, you knew that.
Well, I didn't. I think it's in the. Is it in Temple of Doom where there's the hieroglyphics and there's R2?
Yeah.
And there's also. Do you know who the Asian man who's telling them get on the plane? That's Dan Aykroyd in makeup. He's in the movie. Yes. He's in like evil Asian guy makeup.
which
yeah.
Tell me how well that'd go over.
Today they burn everything down. I've got a trivia.
I'm surprised he hasn't had to come out and apologize for that.
So I've got a trivia question. You guys can take to parties. All right. And anybody watching The Escape with Nick and Adam, you heard it here. Okay. So there are two characters in pop culture's, you could call them vigilante history. Okay. And they are related. And I'm going to tell you who one of them is. The Lone Ranger has a relative, a descendant, who is a notable hero. The Lone Ranger's real name is Ranger Reed.
Really?
Ranger Reed. Ranger Reed was the Lone Ranger.
Is it a Fantastic Four guy?
No, not Reed Richards.
That was the first name.
yeah, not Reed Richards. I will tell you, Britt Reed is a millionaire socialite who hangs around a guy named Kato, and at night they are the Green Hornet.
No
Kato.
kidding.
It's his great nephew.
I'll be darned. Good trivia. I never heard that's a deep cut, man.
I say that's an original like little universe building.
Yeah, I had a guy try to get me with that at a fellowship meeting. He was a very old man. I hope he's doing well now. He's well past 90. And he said to me, he asked me this question. I was like, the Green Hornet. He's like, damn it, you knew. I'm like, that's a rare one, man.
That's a good one.
So it's one of my few rare ones.
Guys, I got to start wrapping it up because I got to go put Grandma to bed. But last thought, I would love to see, we never will. Who's the guy who did Pulp Fiction?
Oh my God, Quentin Tarantino?
Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek. I would love to see Quentin Tarantino do Star Trek. I heard.
Did you hear what it was going to be?
No,
it was going to be the episode called, I believe, or one of them in the vein of, but City on the Edge of Forever, where she played Alexis Carrington on Dynasty. Joan Collins. Joan Collins was in that episode of Star Trek, and they went back in time, and it tried to save her from being killed. It was when Bones went nuts and ran through the time portal.
Yeah, and he had to let her get run over. That's old. That's old school.
And they had to be back in time, and I believe there was gang. So if it is this episode, or I'm getting it confused, but the mob was involved, and they took their phasers and like, what kind of heaters are these? And like, and he's like, those heaters are phasers and stuff. So it was supposed to take place in the 1920s Chicago.
Oh, I would have loved to see what he could do with it. But
that's what he wanted to do. I would have loved to see it too, sir.
Don't think it's going to happen. Well, gents, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. It's such an honor to be invited back. You guys got a great show and a great repartee, and I just love coming.
We appreciate you, sir.
Anytime, Jerry.
So happy end of the year and beginning of the new year, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
All right. Later, Jerry.
All right. Take care, man. Bye.
And then there were two.
So Marvel's popular because they took up the whole first hour of the frickin' New Year's show, because guess what? We had to get off on tangents because we don't have enough therapists to hear us out.
Damn it, therapy.
Yeah, no, damn it, Marvel, for making us need therapy.
Damn it, Marvel.
So, in conclusion, my thing, Phase 4, where's it going? I don't know, but I think we're going to find out in Ant-Man 5, so I need to see that movie.
Well, Phase 4 is done, right? So now it's on to Phase 5.
Which means, like, Phase 4 should mean something in this movie. Like, hey, this is what happened in Phase 4, that's why we're here.
Remember all that stuff that happened in the Eternals that'll never be discussed ever again? Like there's a thing being birthed that's in the middle being birthed from Earth, and no one talked about it ever again.
Okay, so on that note too, that's one of the few cool things that happen that you can address now in it. Like, so
yeah, I'll just say finish. Phase 4 was a freaking disaster, and honestly, I've been thinking about this. I'd love to see the breakdown between what the budgets were for Phase 1 through Phase 3, and how much money they made versus how much they spent on Phase 4 and how much money they didn't make. Because I think the numbers would be incredibly telling. So
yeah.
But, all right, Adam, do we want to talk about DC stuff, or do we want to move on to favorite comic books of 2022?
It's 8:37. I don't care how long this podcast goes. I don't, but I would only like to give about 3 to 5 minutes to DC.
Okay.
As far as like, I want to wait for an announcement before I talk about any more of like, what do I think's going to happen? What do I think's going to happen? They're going to release these movies and they're not going to mean anything, but I hope they're good because I will see them.
Right. Well, it went from, if you'd asked me like a month ago, hey, are you excited for the movies to come out? I sure am. Now I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, you got nothing for me. Because, Aquaman 2's in the fourth stage of reshoots. They've already said that they've taken out, they've had to go back into the Flash again and edit things out again because they had all the Snyder Cut people in, Snyderverse guys. And it's just like, at this point, do you guys have any idea what the hell you're
I think they know exactly what they're doing. I just don't think they know what to do with what came before right now.
I don't think they had any idea what the hell they were doing to begin with. So,
well, yeah, but who's in control of it now is different than who was in control of it then.
It's just, I think it's one of those things where Warner Brothers looks stupid again. And it sucks because right now, like, DC is my jam. Like, I love so much stuff that's going on in DC. I don't know, maybe just because maybe I always did, but there's nothing in Marvel movies, nothing in Marvel comics I really care about at all. There's only one thing I actually enjoyed out of Marvel Comics last year, and that was the Banner of War. Thor versus Hulk run. But even then, it was just like that was only a mini series.
Okay, so this is it, and then I'm done, and then you can go on, and then you can say your piece. But I'm going to tie the Marvel thing into it now. They should just start over too.
Yes.
Because to tell you the truth,
I don't know about. Sorry. I think Phase 4 was a complete wrong misstep, and I've said I always thought that after Endgame they should have pivoted to introducing the Fantastic Four and building their new big bad at Galactus. They could have gone on with another 2 or 3 phases, just building up that side. You could have filled it with Fantastic Four and even introduced the X-Men at that point. But no, they kept going, no, we're going to keep dragging this Avengers thing out. And it's like, okay, good job.
Yeah. I just, I want to see for DC. Let's get into New Year stuff and let's drive the show, sir.
All right. So,
drive the show. Are you good?
No, yeah.
You good with these clowns? I'm good with these clowns.
Yeah.
James, I'm looking forward to see what everybody's going to do.
Yeah, I'm excited, scared, whatever, what James Gunn actually has in store, because his thing is, it's not a reboot, right? It's not a retell. It's not an origin story. That's what he said. But when you've got, we're going with young, Clark Kent, be like, that's still an origin story of some sort. So
careful, not you, but them. Like,
when
I hear that, I go, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Are we going back to a time when I don't get the S on the chest? I don't want that.
Well, that's the thing. Damn it, man. That's why so many people are pissed off, because you know what people really want? They're sick of, they're sick of seeing Uncle Ben die. They're sick of seeing Thomas and Martha Wayne die. They're sick of seeing a spaceship crash into Kansas. You know what people want to see? They want to see a mature Superman who's being Superman. They want to see a mature Batman who's the greatest detective, being the greatest detective. They want to see, Princess Diana, being Wonder Woman. For the love of God, just show us the damn characters. We don't need 3 movies to, how do they feel? How did they get here? No, just know that they're there and they're badasses already. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
No, but we're going to, we got to show them where they came from. Everybody knows where Clark Kent came from. Everybody knows who his love is. Everybody knows who his arch nemesis is. For the love of God, can we get an actual scary, terrifying, maniacal genius in Lex Luthor, please?
Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman was good on paper.
But the whiny
execution was not okay.
No,
the execution was not okay.
And what's it, Jesse Eisenberg? I like that actor, but man, just the whole tech billionaire, I run around in PJs because I can type of thing. It's like, that's not who Lex Luthor is at all.
It should have been. I'd have been fine with his plot. I would have been fine with most of his lines, even where it was like threatening the senator and saying, maybe everything will be okay. If, maybe Dad will come back, blah, blah, blah. If Bryan Cranston was delivering those lines.
Oh, Jesus, Bryan Cranston.
In the form of,
shaved head.
Well, I mean, in the form of like what they did with Lex in Smallville and what they did with Lex in Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston. That's what I wanted. That was my pick for that. I was like, oh my god, please let it be Bryan Cranston.
That'd be so good.
You put Bryan Cranston in Batman v Superman, the director's cut. Fucking badass movie.
But and that's the thing. So to have someone who to have Superman, who is the most original OP guy. That's why I was never a huge Superman guy, because he always had all the best powers. That's just how he came out. He was the original superhero, so he got all the best things. So to have his nemesis be basically someone who is not superpowered, who's just brilliant, and that's enough to take on Superman, because your hero's only as good as their villain, right? It's an old cliche. That's why Darth Vader's one of the best villains in cinema history, because he's freaking terrifying.
Right.
Not only, is he terrifying looking, everybody knows how dangerous he is. He's literally just walking around killing people. Which one's that?
It's Kit Kat.
Of course it's Kit Kat.
Yeah.
So it's just your superheroes, your hero's only as good as their villain. And sorry, Jesse Eisenberg, you are not a scary Lex Luthor at all.
You're not. He's only scary because I know Lex is scary and the writing is right.
Because you know who Lex Luthor is, but
man,
I don't like, and I hate to make it about physical appearance, but and like I said, Lex Luthor's scariest thing is his mind. So he doesn't have to be big and bad, but Lex from the comic, he's got some got some muscle to him.
Did I ever send you the? So Michael Rosenbaum was on Smallville from season 1 through 7, and then he came back for like 2 or 3 scenes in the finale in season 10. Did I ever send you the video of the two of them talking, Clark and Lex?
I think so.
Yeah, where he's talking to him and he says, it all depends on you saving us from the coming apocalypse. And there were these ancient journals that foretold about the crypto. They've worked that stuff in the comics before, and they put it into the show brilliantly. And he looks at him and he says, you know about Darkseid? He goes, what do you think? I just read the Cliff Notes of the Veritas journals, Clark. Then he goes, they foretold about an ancient savior, a chosen one that would save us from bring the light to the darkness. He goes, you are that light, Clark. And he goes, I don't think Clark Kent can take on Darkseid by himself. He goes, he can't, but we both know who can. Kal-El. I mean, it's like crazy. I mean, he's under his skin already. Basically saying, I'm going to be waiting for you when you come back.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited for James Gunn, but at the same time, it's the dismissal of Henry Cavill's going to be such a misstep, and I think it's going to be, something that the fans are just always. Anytime there's a misstep going forward with James Gunn, everybody's just going to point to Henry Cavill.
Okay, I agree with you there, and I'm excited too to see James Gunn. But here's my drawback on it: like when you look at Marvel, and I'm sorry, but they did do it right. I mean, they did it right the first 3. You look at Kevin Feige, right? And he didn't direct any of his movies. Nope. He was the ultimate producer. Right. And so what are we doing? Because look at James Gunn movies. They're very eccentric. The Suicide Squad was good for him. Guardians of the Galaxy is good for him. Are we going to get Taika Waititi type work from him when he has to do a character that's not in his wheelhouse? Because Thor is not in Taika's wheelhouse. Batman might not be in Gunn's wheelhouse. Superman may not be in Gunn's wheelhouse.
Well, yeah, I'd say James Gunn's always kind of gone into the quirky category, right? And that's everybody's concern is, hey, you've done quirky before. You did a great job with Guardian Galaxy. Can you bring your keystone of the DCU moving forward? Can you do that?
Yeah.
And that's obviously he's got the confidence that he can, but also he knows it can't be Guardians of the Galaxy in DC. It can't be Superman as one of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm hoping he understands that too. I think that he does, but I won't lie. There's my apprehension.
Yeah.
And again, a younger Superman. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about no S on the chest? Are we talking no flights, no tights?
No, I want freaking Superman as Superman. That's
So
what I want.
that's what everyone wants. So
But
what are you?
that's a-
So
that's
what
what
are
I
you? What are you talking? Not you, but what are you talking about when you say this? When you say you're going with a younger Superman, James Gunn and Peter Safran, what are you talking about? Okay, if he's younger, fine. I don't want Superboy, and I certainly don't want no S on the chest again. I do not want to go back to that time. That was a fucked up time to live in when like it was taboo. Not like taboo is the right word. It was taboo to make superhero movies because of the way because they all looked ridiculous. They looked ridiculous.
Because they look cheap. They made everything almost like Batman 66.
Right.
Like in that everything's campy. You can't take it seriously. It's got to be just hokey, cheesy. It's for kids, and it took a couple generations to be like, no, like we're adults and we like this stuff. So.
And when they did make it serious, you take your first one, the X-Men, where they took seriously. They didn't put the X-Men in X-Men uniforms. Fuck no. They put them in black leather uniforms with a little bit of yellow trim, and they were like, here's your X-Men. You can barely see the X's on them. You know what I mean? Like they were sneaking it in.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go back to that.
And also because, hey, you know what looked ridiculous? Blue and yellow spandex, and they even said it in the movie. So.
Right. Okay, so 2023. 2020. So what do you got next on the list, bud?
Let's get into comic books. But you know what I have to do, unfortunately, Adam? I use the restroom, and I'll be back in a minute. So talk about something for give me 30 seconds.
Wicked Witch cries, even though I know it's strictly taboo. Yeah. So it looks like he's going to the bathroom. We're talking about 2022 here, and the things that we liked and the things that we didn't like. And right now we've gone real heavy on the Marvel and DC front. And to no fault of our own, we keep getting, we're passionate about these things. So while he's off here, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I really liked about 2022 that involved television. And I'll elaborate more if we have time to talk. But the first thing I'd like to bring up forward is the Pam and Tommy tapes or whatever. I think that's what it was called. Maybe it was just called Pam and Tommy, that you could watch on Hulu at the beginning of the year. It was really good. It was funny where it was supposed to be funny, sexy where it was supposed to be sexy. And, at the end of the day, people ordered it. Everybody saw it. I saw it when I was younger. Kind of makes you think, fuck, I wish I hadn't seen that. You know what I mean? Because it was something between two people. And then I recently finished up Interview with a Vampire. And I really enjoyed that. So that is my top two right there for 2022. Quantum Leap is 3, but just in case we didn't talk about those things, I wanted to make sure I gave you something to chew on. Yeah. Basically, what I said was, to no fault of our own, we've been off on our own tangents because we're real passionate about these topics, and you can't help but talk at great lengths about what you expect and what you didn't like. So I just kind of told the folks at home, in the time you were gone, about TV.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go Tom Hanks League of Their Own on there. I was like, holy Jesus.
That's okay.
Urination. I almost broke up the timer. So did you want to go over some movies from 2022? Maybe you liked?
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about movies that we liked in 2022. And I'm just gonna. My favorite one I can bring up right now. I liked the Batman. It was my favorite movie, and not because it was a Batman movie, because it didn't hurt.
I liked it. I very much liked it as well. The biggest complaint, I think it's a valid complaint, is the last 30 minutes really didn't need to happen. Unfortunately, if you cut that, I think the way it's written, obviously like it kind of fits in the story, but like, man, like that was an extra solid 30 to 40 minutes where it's like, okay.
Yeah, but I think you need it just because you need him out in the daylight helping the Coast Guard. You need that. Because when he says, I need to become something else, we're fine. We're going to leave behind this vengeance thing. We're going to evolve into a Bruce Wayne type mask. I don't know. I need it there.
I know what you're saying, but also I think there's a better way to do it instead of tacking on 40 minutes to make that happen.
40 minutes.
It was a lot. 20.
It was 20.
Either way, I'll meet you in the middle and say 30, but I think there was a better, and I'll say an easier way to do that instead of having that entire scene at the end with the multiple Riddlers and the whole thing. So
it's cinema, Nick. It's cinema.
I know it's cinema, but it's still 3 hours. Jesus, that's the thing. One thing people are getting sick of these long ass comic book movies in general. Well, not just comic book movies, but just movies in general. Cinema needs to get back to horror and comedies, 90 minutes. Everything else, it's got to be within 2 hours. This stretching things into 3 hours, it's ridiculous. When I saw Avatar, I was like, there's parts in the middle where I'm like, why the hell is this happening? Like,
you're lucky you didn't spend 6 hours watching that one movie.
Yes, there's like a 9 hour cut of that movie. I'm like, how?
James Cameron laying on a bed going, I can't stop coming.
Yeah, it's just literally like, are we doing a day in the life of an Avatar? You know, it's like, Jesus, like, come on, man, let's get to the point. And it's and not knocking James Cameron, he's a genius in the whole thing, but
you'll disappear if you do.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Erie's nuts.
Oh yeah.
So also, he does just shit hits, though.
What's that?
James Cameron does just like shit hits. He's like,
oh yeah,
hit.
Yeah. I checked. Well, yeah. I thought it was meh. I thought it was meh at best, but there are good things to it. Like it's got a lot. It's one of the few things that in 2022 that you can look at and say, hey, it's family based. There's a strong, male, presence, in a somewhat nuclear family. There's a lot of things that go against the 2022 narrative, but it's still 3 hours and it's still Avatar, but they just moved to a different place. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, fantastic. And Chris Gore said one of the funniest and most true things I've ever heard is, so they've got this one character named Spider. He's like a kind of adopted human kid.
Yeah.
And Chris Gore called him Chaka from Land of the Lost, and I can't unsee it. Or
Chris Gore. I know Chris Gore.
Chris Gore, he was on G4 and he does he's got his channel Film Threat. But he called the kid Chaka, and I was like, that's exactly who he is, because he can't communicate, because I don't know why, or he can communicate, but it's just he's Chaka from Land of the Lost, and that's just how it is.
All right, so we got the Batman on there. We talked about the Batman. Yep. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it and we spoiled the ending, I don't know what you're doing here, but you should see that movie. I'm looking through a lot of this here, and there's a lot of movies I missed. I never finished Hellraiser. It didn't really grab me.
Hellraiser was okay.
I'm looking here. I didn't see Nope yet.
So Nope. Nope was meh. And Nope, actually, I didn't like Nope that much. I thought it's one of those, it started strong, it started cool, and then it went like sideways, and I'm like, all right. So on my list I got Prey. How did you like Prey?
I didn't watch it yet.
Prey.
Everybody loves it though.
Yeah, I did.
You do or you didn't?
I didn't.
You did?
No, I did not love it.
Well, I thought you said you liked it.
It's okay. It's entertaining, but when the main character's stupid, I hate having to support when the main character's stupid.
Oh, no.
Stupid.
That's half the movie's alive. What's wrong with what the main character do?
She got her brother killed. So the whole premise is she wants to be part of one of the hunters, right? She wants to be part of the hunting party. through her actions, she literally got the entire hunting party killed.
By
and
a
we're
bear?
supposed to be like, oh no, by the alien.
Well, Nick, that's what I kind of
By
set
the
you up
predator,
on.
sir.
I kind of set you up on that one. If they were killed by the predator, I mean, that's why I was like, if it was a bear, it's her fault. If it was wolves, it's her fault. If it was the evil white man, it's her fault. You know what I'm saying? But it was the predator.
It's the predator because she went out looking for it by herself. So her brother, who's part of the hunting party, and all the other hunters had to go basically try and rescue her. If she had not gone out looking for the predator, they wouldn't have died. So through her stupid actions, everyone's like, oh, she's so brave and amazing. I was like, she's a moron, and that's the reason there's only one hunter left, her, because she got everybody else killed by her stupid, selfish actions.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's still a fun, entertaining, like, turn the brain off. But I can still like a movie and have critiques of it. But like you said, like stupid characters. I hate stupidity. I hate like stupid main characters when they do something dumb. So, but one of the movies I know you said you liked, Violent Night.
Mm-hmm. Pleasantly surprised.
Is this David Letterman? Did David Letterman do this?
Yes.
Papers. Okay.
Yep, that was Letterman. I thought I recognized that somewhere. Thank you.
So, Violent Night, David Harbour, and you saw Smile as well. Would you?
I didn't get through Smile. I won't finish Smile.
Oh, okay.
I saw Smile with Don't Kill It, and another one. There was a Denzel Washington movie, I think, too, where, like, I don't know. It was like this virus passing.
Yeah, I hate when you watch a movie like, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah. And I thought, like, I'm like, I'm not watching this. I just saw it over there. You're trying. That's repackaged to me.
That's one of the things I get frustrated because you and I, we watch so many movies. We've seen so many movies over the years. Be like, and we have such a recall. Be like, oh, you took this part from here. You took this part. You took this synopsis. I'll be like, oh, we recognize this. But that's where that's one of the reasons we do. That's one of the reasons we do this, because we're like, hey, we got things to say about stuff. But
it was the entire fucking plot, though. Like,
right.
It was, but instead of I don't remember the Denzel Washington one as much as there was another one called Don't Kill It on Netflix.
What's that? Are you talking about the Denzel movie with John Goodman?
I don't know. Every time you killed the guy, the thing would pass on, and the demon would.
That's
what Smile was.
Okay.
That's exactly what Smile was. It would kill somebody else and then pass on to somebody. That's what pissed me off. You know what movie we're forgetting to talk about? Scream 5.
Oh, Scream 5. I didn't see Scream 5 yet.
I liked it.
Good.
I intend to go see Scream 6.
Nice. So on my list, Bullet Train. It's currently on Netflix, starring Brad Pitt.
I've heard good things about it.
I liked it. It was good. Once again, just shut off your brain. You know what it reminds me? It reminds me almost sort of Edgar Wright. Damn it. Who did Snatch and Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels?
Oh,
Guy Ritchie.
It
reminds me kind of in those vein of those movies. So I recommend Bullet Train. Good times. One of the movies that I liked it was Netflix. I didn't finish it, but it's one of those I liked it, but I just haven't had time to finish watching. It was their version of All Quiet on the Western Front. That's a solid. I liked it. What else you got?
So we're going here. I want to make sure. I didn't finish talking about Violent Night. No, I just wanted to say that you'd be pleasantly surprised by it, because you've got people who are like supposed to be like caricature actors. Like there's a woman terrorist in it. She's very blonde, talks like this. She's supposed to be the very blonde man in Die Hard, who you just fucking hate that guy with the long blonde hair. You know what I'm talking about? He's very little lines. his brother gets killed, and he sends his brother's body down. You know, she's supposed to be kind of like him, and his name's Candy Cane. Her name is Candy Cane, and so you get these.
All right, I don't like him.
Her name is Candy Cane,
I don't like her.
Santa's kind of fucked with her head now, but not really. It's fucking with her head because of the things that he knows. And so you get this other group of terrorists that come in, and and Candy Cane's talking to this one. She goes, "What if he is the real Santa?" And the one terrorist goes, "What the fuck are you talking about? like you stupid piece of shit!" Like just literally, but you don't know. He doesn't know what was just said to her. Like really got inside her head, and they actually watched him sweep up the chimney too. So it was cool. It was cool.
So, so I got a couple, not off the wall, but slightly surprising movies that I really enjoyed. One was the Netflix movie Troll, and I don't know who made it, but it's kind of a dub from, I think it's a like Danish movie or something, because it comes from that that heritage. So deep in the Dover Mountains, something gigantic wakes up after 1,000 years in captivity. Creature destroys everything in its path and quickly approaches Oslo. So it's Norwegian folklore. So directed by Roar. His name's Roar. That's awesome. Roar Uthag. So I really like that one. And one completely off the wall, going off the board. RRR, the Indian movie. Love that. I won't say I loved it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was ridiculous. You got fight scenes. You got lions and tigers attacking things. You got dance numbers. You got, is it Ray Stevenson in there?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Which movie was that?
RRR.
Oh, RRR. I haven't heard of that.
RRR. Yeah, it's on Netflix. You can catch it on Netflix, but it's an Indian movie, Indian cinema.
All right, my next, I guess I would say my next like two, I'd have to go with. It's tough, man, because I just saw Werewolf by Night and it's good. And I'm probably going to be the only person in the world that liked Morbius. I thought Morbius was okay, so I will say Morbius gets a good check in the plus column. Werewolf by Night gets a check in the plus column for me, and then I would say, whew. Yeah, I can't say Black Adam's good enough to be in like that.
Well, I kind of went old school with some of my ratings where I was like, hey, approve, but also I like made notes. I was like, one thumb up. one thumb out of two. I was like, not great, but like one thumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't.
Like I'd give Black Adam one thumb. Definitely not two. One thumb up.
I don't know. I thought about Wonder Woman 1984 today, and I compared the two, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I defended Black Adam harder than I defended Wonder Woman 1984, and one's not really worse than the other. One's definitely not better than the other. I didn't see Clerks 3 yet, so yeah, that's it. Those are my picks for 2022. Okay. I can't say Halloween Ends. Black Adam was better than Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends was bullshit.
I do have one.
Oh Jesus! What one I just saw? Not the Darling movie. Babylon with Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt. That was insanely good.
Insane. So, one movie I hated. I didn't hate. What's just below hate? Loathe? No. Anyway,
the opposite of love is indifference.
No, it wasn't indifference. I didn't like it, but it was the sequel to Knives Out: Glass Onion, the Rian Johnson movie. Rian Johnson, who also directed Last Jedi. He tried to be clever, and it didn't work, and I hated the movie. I can't find it. Yeah, when I try and re-say it, just I hated it. Because it sucks because it's got a really good cast. It's got Daniel Craig returning as the main character, the detective. It's got Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista.
How's Kate Hudson these days?
Not great. Not great. She didn't have. God bless her. She hasn't. I don't know if she's had work done. I don't think she does. But there's a few. What were we just watching? My wife and I were watching a movie. I had to go. Is that Famke Janssen? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, ooh. Like, could barely even tell it was her. But yeah, Kate Hudson is kind of like, ooh. No judgment here, but it is what.
But we just did it anyway. No judgment here, but
as I sit here, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah.
It just never worked.
Yeah. That you're so unattractive and blah, blah. No. Yeah. So, how about we move over to comics of 2022?
Oh, that's on you. I barely read any comics. I read more comics like in the last month than I've read. At all.
I'll just go through my liked list. So I like the Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, even though the last 130, that was the one where Batman re-enters from, not outer space, but from the moon or whatever. But that was ridiculous. But overall, I like what they're doing with that run. I like Wildcat Jet, even though they're just 2 issues in. I don't want to pass too much judgment there. But I did see Wes from Thinking Critical. He tore the second issue apart because of what they did to Craven. Not Craven, Deathblow. And apparently now Deathblow is like a cyborg character, and they just kind of upload his stuff into him, and now he's a girl. So they just kind of...
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
so I was just like, well, I mean, look, man, it's DC in 2022. I'm not shocked that they're going that route, but I'm not super psyched about it. But one of comics I really like that's just a few issues in is Vanish, and that's over on Image. That's written by Donny Cates. Of course, the Spawnverse stuff I like. Still reading Gunslinger, Scorching, King Spawn. Not into the Spawn because that's 300 issues in. I'm just not doing that right now. I really like the Flashpoint Beyond miniseries. Is that Scott Snyder that wrote that, I think? Batman versus...
Flashpoint Beyond would be probably Jeff Johns, right?
Yeah, Jeff Johns. I get those two confused, sorry. Jeff Johns, and then I like Batman versus Robin. That one's pretty fun one. DC, Batman, and Joker, Deadly Duo, Mark Silvestri. And then I also like the only thing I liked from Marvel this year was Banner of War, Hulk versus Thor. That's also Donny Cates. So Donny Cates got some good stuff going this year, even though he's got a thing with threes, right? Because he had 3 Thors for the God Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got the Hulk as where he's the ship. I forget the thing, but I know the Hulk's a ship. And there's Hulk, and there's Bruce Banner, and then the ship.
Well, the Hulk has all these. He's got a bunch of different personalities locked in his head, and they all have different Hulks. But that's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. I read Spawn Batman or Batman Spawn issue 1.
That one I put on the list kind of undecided since it's only 1 issue. Some people are kind of hammering Todd on that. It was like Todd shouldn't write. It's like, dude, it's
what?
Like,
what do you mean he shouldn't write? That thing was brilliant.
I'm not passing judgment because it's 1 issue. That's kind of my thing. I don't like doing issue by issue ratings because it's 1 issue. Like,
okay. Fine, but the groundwork he's laying in that is awesome, and it does bear a few questions. Like, what is Spawn talking about when he says they killed him first on my world? Your world, you're talking about Superman. right? Because that's what they were talking about in that conversation. And then you get the Joker, and the Joker's got his fucking face cut off. Are we on Earth 52? That's what I want to know. Because if we're on Earth 52, we have a Superman without a son, and we have a universe that has no Jonathan Kent, and we have
which Adam is very excited about.
Yes, that's true. So I am very excited about it. I like Connor Kent as my Superboy. Do not like my superheroes having kids. I'm just not that.
I don't like my superheroes having like girlfriends. It irritates me. Just
Yeah.
the action.
I think that I think that's what makes Batman work so well. Like I hate the Selena Kyle trap they've written in the last 20 years
because it is a trap.
It is. Selena Kyle. Now I would say it's pretty safe to say Selena Kyle is to Batman what Lois Lane is to Superman, and that's annoying.
Yes. Now she's always going to be there. Now they're going to have 17 storylines where now you just have to get to Selena to get to Batman. It's like,
right.
So, oh, and I hate going to the well, but it was part of 2022. Ninja Turtles: Last Ronin. Oh yeah.
Going to the well, that was great. I shame on me for not finishing it.
So, all right, things
I'm a lazy fuck.
You bastard. Things that comics I did not like in 2022. I did not care for Deathstroke Inc. I didn't like the art, and the story was meh. The Dark Knights of Steel, the Tom Taylor story with DC, where they're all like fantasy ancient. I think they all like, everything happened basically in fantasy medieval times. Didn't care for it, not my thing. And then I have one book, Adam, that I loathed. Riddler One Fine Day.
Oh.
Tom King.
I agree.
All righty. So let's get on to, I know you kind of did some of the streaming stuff, so I'll do streaming stuff, and I'll do my bad list, and then my good list. So, bad, Kenobi. Boo. Bad, Cowboy Bebop. Bad, She-Hulk. Bad, Moon Knight.
Cowboy Bebop was 2021.
Still didn't like it. It still hurts. Things I tried to watch, but I found unwatchable. The Witcher Blood Origin. Holy crap. There's been few, like, look, I watch a bunch of YouTubers and kind of see what they're talking about and say, like, this is something we should talk about. I'm not a Witcher guy, Adam. I don't think you're a Witcher guy either.
I didn't even know what the fuck it was until Henry Cavill was involved.
Yeah, so not one of those guys who tries to talk on stuff we don't know about. But I tried watching The Witcher Blood Origin because everybody's talking about how bad it is. 4 minutes, Adam. I made it 4 minutes where I said I hate everything so far, and I turned it off.
Nice.
So,
nice.
But the king of awful for streaming, Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings of Power on Prime. Awful.
Did you watch it though?
I watched most of it. I could not finish it because it was terrible.
I thought I was going to say I wasn't sure if you. I thought you didn't watch the whole thing, but or I know you didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't know you watched it at all. I didn't even know you put that kind of time into it.
I tried, dude. I tried. There's a few things where I genuinely tried. I said I don't care.
Yeah,
and that's a shame. Like there's things that were actually pretty good that I were like, hey, this isn't bad. Like Andor, but it's so. I'm so over Star Wars. I was like, I don't care.
Oversaturated.
It's just there's.
I mean, I'll be honest. I feel
it's
now about DC. I feel that way about DC movies right now.
I
feel that way about Marvel too.
Yes, that's the problem. That's part of the problem is there's so much stuff where you're just like, man, I just don't care, man. Get my attention. Do something good, and we'll talk.
Yeah.
So, but streaming things that I liked. So, Netflix, Stranger Things season 4. snuck in at the end, $18.99. Pretty good. So Reacher, Terminal List, and Peacemaker. Pretty good. Was Peacemaker 2021 or is that 20? I don't know.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
2022.
it's on my list. But best of 2022 for streaming was House of the Dragon.
All right, I have a very short list for streaming. Interview with a Vampire. I was very pleasantly surprised with that, very much so. Quantum Leap, which I know it also
Did you
airs
stick
on
with
television. I stuck with it. I was like, what? Why are we not getting another episode? And I had to Google everything, and they're coming back I think on the 8th. So Thank God for that. Either they're back on the 3rd. I know the Mayfair Witches. This is what I was going to say. I'm looking forward to that. That's with Alexandra Daddario. I'm looking forward to that coming up because that's more of the Anne Rice world. It's in the same world as like you could have Lestat just walk into the Mayfair Witches and it'd be okay. It'd be like having Captain America walk into Iron Man. So they've got a little world builder going on over there. And my mother and my sister raved about those Mayfair books because they read them when I was a kid. And of course, I've read a lot, not audio book, but The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. So, and I've actually decided to ingest. I tried to do the Witching Hour audio book, and I was a little lost. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to ingest this the same way I ingested Interview with the Vampire. The first time I ever saw anything like it was that movie. So I saw that movie first, and then I went for the book. So I'll see this show first, and then I'll go to the Mayfair books and check that out. But that's a little preview of to come for 2023. And then I gotta say, Pam and Tommy, I stuck with that one for 2022, and I really liked it.
I know that made a lot of lists for top streaming shows.
Yeah, I mean, it was really well done. It was funny when it was supposed to be funny, and it was appropriately funny. At the end of the day, they had their property stolen from them, and whatever you kind of look back and say, I looked at that, I rented that, and I kind of feel a little dirty about it now because really it was like something private between two people. That sure did a good job of boiling Pam and Tommy down to, the bare bones. Tommy looking like an asshole. Basically, it was his fault. But then he comes back and he has a moment with Seth Rogen's character, and he says, "What about Pam? She didn't deserve any of this. I might have, but it's like it's true. She didn't."
Yeah, but also the hottest woman on the planet as a sex tape. You're like, literally gold. Every frame of that was gold.
Well, yeah, but it was unconsensual viewing after a while. The only thing they could really do to put a cap on it was buy it and own it.
Yep.
So there was Interview with the Vampire, Quantum Leap, and Pam and Tommy, and that's it for my TV shows. Mandalorian, not Mandalorian, but Boba Fett. That wrapped up at the end of 2021, didn't it? It wrapped up at Christmas, didn't it? So that doesn't even count. WandaVision.
21.
21? You sure that didn't air last January? No, you're right. It did air in 2021. You're right. I apologize. That's it. Those three.
So needless to say, not a lot of great stuff in 2022. Not a lot. We had some good stuff, but
my attention span has greatly shrunken because of this.
Well, I think my BS meter has gone up, where it's just like, look, man, time is precious. I don't have time to watch a bunch of garbage anymore. You really got to get me in some way to, because there's a lot of people that, and God bless the YouTubers, because look, they've got the following, they've got the cachet, they've got, they can sit there and review like every, dog shit show out there. I'm just like, I don't want to be that show. I don't want to be the guys who go and like, we're gonna review episode by episode and pick it apart and tell you what's good and what's bad. It's like, I don't have, like, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy to sit there and break down a bad show.
Of course, with some more viewers and more sponsors, we could have that time.
Well, yeah, but right now, I don't want to review bad TV. I was like, I want to talk about good stuff. I want to talk about fun stuff. So,
Me
but
too.
so
How did
now-
that show Evangeline end up on the list? Have you heard anything about it? Emmy Rossum played this woman with really, really, really big boobies that she rented a bunch of billboards in the 80s and stuff and put herself up all over. And Emmy, it dropped. It started dropping right after Pam and Tommy wrapped up and then I watched the first episode. It was just like, this movie's about a lady that's kind of an asshole. I love Emmy Rossum, don't get me wrong. I love her, but the character she was playing just seemed like, I know she's a woman, but why can't you say, she's a dick? She seemed like a dick to me.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm trying to look up IMDb. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Evangeline.
Oh, Angeline.
Is it Angeline?
Yep.
Yeah, Angeline. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's the first thing that pops up. So I'm just reading it. I'm not right. I'm just reading IMDb. So Angeline, Emmy Rossum is Angeline. Fame, identity, billboards, Corvettes, women teasing men, then obsessed with women, West Hollywood, crystals, UFOs, and self-proclaimed Rorschach test in pink, glow in the dark, queen of the universe, Angeline. That sounds like a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, she rented billboards of herself, and they're like, who is she? And all she really was just this chick who rented billboards, put herself up there, and so everybody thought she was famous.
Because you had billboards in LA. So
yeah. Wild, huh? True story.
Yeah. There's so many just interesting stories. One that aren't necessarily TV worthy. Like, you can just give me an article and be like, that's fascinating, and moving on with my life.
Emmy Rossum saw that and was like, I need a booby suit.
I need obnoxiously big honkers, and then yeah.
When it came out, I saw her in an interview, and she said, I did think twice just for a minute, like, this is what this is like, huh? Because she went out in the makeup a couple times, and the attention she got was different from the attention she gets. Even though she's gorgeous.
Right.
I don't know how you feel. I mean, I've always thought Emmy Rossum was gorgeous. When I saw her play Bulma in Dragon Ball, I was like,
oh, yeah.
Who is
that? Adam, let's move on to favorite figures. And this will be our last thing of the evening.
I'll be right back.
All right. So, since I just hit Adam with that one, I will talk about some of my favorite figures that came out this year. So we have actually show you guys what we're talking about. And one of my favorites of this year. So there's a lot of McFarlane, a lot of NECA, some Hasbro, but one of the top ones that I thoroughly enjoyed. I haven't, but these are just figures that I like from the year. Doesn't mean I actually have them. But one of my favorites is Bane. I think Adam's got this one. So Bane. Let's see if we can. What else? Wait for Adam to get back real quick. I think I hear him. So we're gonna do kind of favorite figures, and then what I'll do is a kind of top figures of 2022, and that's how we'll do it. He's back.
Hello.
There he is. So now, Adam, these can be figures that you just like. You don't have to have them, but there's figures that we like, and then we'll do our top figures of the year. So however you want to do it? You just do a couple figures that you like.
I basically brought 3 of my absolute favorite purchases for this year. But I have, I do have a list of figures that I want to get in 2023.
Right.
So I don't know how you want to do it. I see you got Bane up there. I'm already regretting not bringing him.
Yeah, Bane's one of my. I know you had him, but Bane's on my list of one of my favorite figures. Haven't gotten him yet. I think I've only seen him in the wild once, but Bane's on my list for sure. So, what do you got?
Well, I am going to show this guy first, but he has to be presentable because I packed him up in plastic real quick. I was like, "Oh, you're the first of the displayers that has to go." Hold on, bear with me here, because this guy's gonna spark up some conversation. Oh shit! But yeah. Ooh, fuck! I fucked him up. I almost fucked him up. All right, here he is. He was very hard to get a hold of. You had to be online at a certain time and get certain websites for this gentleman right here. Now, there was a complaint with this action figure, and a well-deserved complaint. A lot of people got the arms on theirs broke, including mine. So I've lost swivel bicep articulation because I had to glue them back together. Other than that, though, he's in excellent condition. And the shell cape I have under a Detective Comics. Ooh, he's got a spot back here. I'm not happy about that. Detective version. So that is, and these are really in no particular order.
Right.
Did you want to see the next one?
Yeah.
All right. The next one is kind of like, I didn't know I wanted it, but I was so happy that they made it. I messaged Sarge at Sergeant Reds. I was like, any more, let me know. It's like, oh, I do have one. I'm like, I'm leaving work in 3 hours. Don't sell it, please. And here she is, the queen of horror hostesses herself, Elvira, Mistress of the Night. Of course, taking the likeness there of the woman who played this character, Cassandra Peterson. You can see she's got, a lot of people say, look at her dagger. It's not a dagger, it's an athame. It's a witchcraft tool. So that is number 2. And of course, this guy right here, they had a couple versions of him come out first. All very serviceable, all very honest, all very awesome. But none of them could compare to this one because this is my He-Man. The 40th anniversary edition He-Man. You can see he's bulkier, much bulkier than the Revelations version. He's got a classic head. Now, this is the Revelations He-Man with a Viking He-Man head. But other than that, this is it. This is the 40th anniversary He-Man Masterverse by Mattel.
All right, am I up?
Yeah.
So, try and stick my list. This one turned into one of actually the.
I have to back and forth. That's fucking sweet.
So this is a custom of the Grifter. So this is what's the Batman that it was off?
Crappy Batman figure makes
Batman
Dark
with
Detective.
Coat, Dark Detective. So Kit Bash and And then let's see. Let's just do my top list. So one of my favorites there. Oh no.
Yeah, baby.
But
Oops. I didn't mean to do that.
Lights up. The light up skyline.
God, that thing's badass too.
It's one of the few times I've kind of felt like a dick coming out of Target because there was two, and that's why I called you. I'm like, hey, do you need this? He's like, oh yeah, I do. So, and the boxes are gigantic. They're not like little things like this where you're just like, oh, I'll just grab two of these. No, I look like a dick because I got these two gigantic boxes. I was like, I don't care. This is no. Hate me all you want. I don't care.
Oh God, I'm so grateful that you got that. I have my my three Jokers Batman with a cloth goods cape standing up there. So I haven't taken the figure out, but I've taken the diorama out.
That's like this is one of my kind of honorable mentions because it's a great Batman figure because it's just a great Batman figure. Two, it's super customizable. So three Jokers Batman goes on the list. And like see here, catching a lot on clear.
Three Jokers Batman is probably. I mean, this is the same buck as the Three Jokers Batman too, right here. Just same buck.
Basic.
Just the arms are different, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I got this fella here. I still can't wait to customize him.
Yeah, I love him too.
I'll do an honorable mention for I'll say toy line of the year. It's not an honorable mention, but if I had to pick an entire toy line, that was my favorite 2022. It is NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Universal Monsters toy line. Between you have Raph as Frankenstein, Leonardo as Hunchback, Mikey as the Mummy, and this is Splinter as Van Helsing. And one of the reasons, Adam, that kind of new to the NECA game, but you see all the different like accessories. I was telling you earlier, like remember when, let's just say, like you had a ninja, you wouldn't get the ninja stars; they would just be molded onto the body.
Right.
These things you get every single.
You get an arsenal.
You get a whole arsenal. Like you get individual bolts for the crossbow. Plus, one of the bolts has garlic on it because he's supposed to be fighting vampires. You got 3 different sets of hands, 2 different heads, a crossbow. This one actually even comes with a stand. Plus, you get a knife and the thingies to stab. Steaks.
Well, and the cool thing about the NECA boxes is for a display. If you're a display collector, the box serves as a diorama too. That's got an awesome background for the character to stand in front of.
Yep.
You know, you get the hospital with Loomis and Michael Myers, which is I should have called that one of my favorite. Why couldn't that's definitely on my list.
There was one figure I didn't even really realize that was coming out that I damn near snatched up. That doesn't fit with anything, but it's the RoboCop setup when he's in the chair, and like the whole, the chair that he's sitting in, plus all the consoles. Like I was like, holy crap! Like what a whole setup. That was a cool freaking figure. But if I had to pick a figure of the year, Adam, I hate to do it again, but I'm going with Mikey as the Last Rodin.
No, it's great, man. It deserves.
All right, this is part of the cartoon, so this is not part of it. But you get all the different weapons. Like you don't get things molded to the body. You get all the different weapons. You get the little hook thing. You get one katana, you get bow staff, you get size. It's just NECA did such a fantastic job with their turtle line.
Truly did. Truly did. I'm waiting on my freaking Dracula to still be released. It's driving me nuts.
Well, that's I was kind of do like some honorable mention stuff, but the NECA Gargoyle line, the NECA just Universal Monsters line, because they've got the in color and the black and white one. Both are just like, if I had the room and the money, just shut up, take my money, and yeah, it's one of those. So anything else you got there, my friend?
That's it, buddy. No.
I'd say maybe we'll get into some of our next show with the 2023 predictions here, but I think that'll be a good spot to wrap it up.
Yeah. I can't help but look forward to this new year. I think there's better things coming to us this year in forms of movies and television than what was coming to us in 2022. Yeah, it sucks that these, next 3 or 4 DC movies that are going to come out aren't going to go anywhere after that. But at the same time, we still get to go to the movies and see a good movie. I believe Aquaman 2 is going to be good. And I believe The Flash is going to be good. But I also thought Black Adam was going to be good. It was good, don't get me wrong. But it had problems it didn't need to have.
Oh, sure.
It had problems it did not need to have. Same with Wonder Woman 1984. That shit had problems it did not need to have either. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If you make the whole movie the way you want, make the same movie again, but don't make Steve Trevor quantum leap into somebody's body. And I'm using the term quantum leap just to describe how he was there. I'm not saying it was quantum leap technology. Don't put his spirit or his soul or his contra or whatever into some guy's body. Just, it's a wishing rock. He's fucking there. That's it. That's all you need to do.
That raised the whole ethical issues there that really didn't need to be raised.
Those ethical issues too would never have been brought up 25 years ago. And the thing about it was because it would have went over everybody's head, or everybody would have just went, it's just a movie. But now people pick things apart like so bad. But it isn't even that though. Like, why would you don't have to do that. You don't have to at all. It's not like Steve Trevor's like, there's a time machine on the thing. It'll transport his spirit if she makes her wish. No, she makes a wish and he's back. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, once again, it's one of the several issues with that movie. But, yeah, anyway, but all right, let's start to wrap it up here. But want to remind you guys that our friends from Night of the Chihuahua started a Kickstarter today.
Yeah.
Girls.
Go, Nate.
Holy jeez, it's already up this.
Look at that.
It's almost doubled since we were on. It was only at 3:34. Now it's at 6:30. So it's still got 29 days. I think I'm going to go out on a limb. I think they're going to reach their record or their goal. So I don't know if they've got stretch goals or not. So, but either way, it's off to a fantastic start. Very excited for these guys. So if you like supporting indie comics or indie creators in general, go check these guys out. They have some these comics are just great. They're a lot of fun. And if you are tired of what the big comic book producers are putting out, just, go support your local comic dealers and your local creators. So this is for Night of the Chihuahua issues 1 through 3. So check them out. And yeah, you guys are off to a fantastic start. Great job, guys, and very excited for you. So, but you still got 29 days to go. Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Let's take it home.
All right. So we'll wrap it up. Adam, any final words for 2022?
I'll kill you. Oh, really, Patsy? If you had the guts for that kind of fun, you'd have done it years ago. I, on the other hand, nope. I have nothing to say.
Well, all right. So if you want to see if you see what we're up to, you can go check us out on Facebook and Instagram. If you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It helps a lot. If you prefer listening to your podcast, we're on all the major podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and Google Podcasts. Anything from the Dark Knight before we go?
I'm coming for you, Joker.
Good night, America.
Good night.